everybody, thank you for joining me again today. I'm Lee from thecraftyspark.co.uk and today's video is a continuation of this. What is this, I hear you ask? Well, this is going to be a card. Ready? Steady. Ta-da! It's actually empty at the moment, so don't worry about that. It will not be empty by the time I finish with it. What we're actually going to be doing is today we are going to make the cupcake that goes in the middle. Exciting. Now, I've made a little card as well, just to fit in that pocket. Whoopsie daisy, she says, trying to get it in. There we go. So that fits in the pocket. So that card's done. I thought you don't really need to see me making it, but just so that you know, that's what it looks like on the back. So what I've done is I've stamped from the birthday blooms. I've used the big one, stamped that on the back. I've got some balloons on the front using the balloon punch. Same paper, birthday bouquet paper. And inside, that's cute, isn't it? I've just stamped 2 flowers, happiest of birthdays to you. And this side would be where you'd write, but write straight over the stamped image, just so I've done that side. All right. Now that measures 3 3/4 inches wide by a total of 7 1/4. No, 7 1/2. Sorry, 7 1/2, and then you score it at 3 3/4 in the middle to create your card. All right, so quite simple. The reason the card is so simple is because the main card, which is obviously this bit, is so complex. So that's going to just sit in there, and then you can just see the top of it poking out. Now, I'm going to finish this bit first, then we're going to do the bit inside. And like I did last time, I've already done quite a lot of what we need to be doing. So, let me just grab hold of it. I've cut some mint macron, which is going in the middle. And that, whoops, clunk on the bin as usual. That measures, what does that measure? That measures 11 1/2 by 3 1/2, and score it at what? What did I score it at? I don't know. It looks like, yeah, 3 3/4 and 7 3/4. All right. Now all of this, as I said last time, is all the measurements are going to be on the block, so don't panic if you miss them. All right. Just roll the sleeves up because I'm getting a bit warm. Right, so I've stuck some panels on the back already. I've done that on 2. All right, and then ta-da! Here's one I made earlier. What I've done on this side is I've let me show you this one actually. What I did was I got some Blushing Bride, cut that to size. Then I got some Watermelon Wonder, and I stamped that with the image again, and Watermelon Wonder ink. I actually stamped a couple. I always do some extras just in case. But can you see I've just stamped it on as a bit of a random pattern. And what I was trying to do was trying to get the stamp as close as I could in various places so that I could cut it and you'd be able to see the stamped image around the edge. Because when that's actually got the top layer on, which is this one, or this one, I wanted to be able to see the edge. Because what I've done is die cut that middle one with one of our dies so that that can sit on top of there. Now, what die was it I used? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Hold on, let me just have a quick look. It is called oh, the Deco Labels Collection Framelets. I should know that actually. That's the one of the ones that Karen Bernstein designed for Stampin' Up. Right, so I've already stamped and coloured 2 flowers, so that's again same stamp set but just the smaller ones, and then I've decorated it with the dots in Pool Party and Mint Macaron, although they look very, very similar. I've also done some Blushing Bride. And then what I did was, with the Blushing Bride and one of my blender pens, I actually coloured the flowers. I'm getting quite good at this, aren't I? And then the other one, I stamped the Blushing Bride, as you can see, put the happiest of birthdays to you, as you can see. And I'm just going to take these back of these dimensionals off. Excuse me, I'm just trying to get them in my bin. I'm trying really hard to be really, really tidy. I'm not getting very far at all, but I am trying. Now that needs to go on there, roughly in the middle if possible. Yep, there we go. And then I can stick that, if I can find it. Oh, I'm trying to get the snail out. No, I can stick that onto the layer. So that's going on there. Centre that one like that. Now, as you probably noticed, I've already stuck a panel on there. That's because I'm going to stick that on that way, and then the other one goes the other way. So let's grab some Tombow, because we're needing gluing now. Make sure it's nice and strong. Put a bit in the middle, just in case. So that's going to go there. Now, when you line up, try and cover your layer underneath. Just makes it look a bit neater. All right. And if you use glue when you're doing this as well, as you can see, like I am, you are able to slide it around nice and easily before you have to actually stick it down, which is really good because it means you can line it up properly, you see. If you can't line it up, it becomes really tricky, especially when you're trying to cover that bottom layer up. Now, this one with the square on, this one's going on the top. So again, whoops, just going to plop some glue. Now, I'm using quite a lot of glue, I know, but it's because I want to make sure I can move it around really, really easily to get it in the right place. Because you may well be watching this thinking, oh my goodness, how much glue is she using? Yeah, I know. That's so I can wiggle it though. I need to be able to wiggle it properly. So if you can't wiggle it, it's just no good, is it? There we go. That's better. About there, I think. Now, while that's drying, we're going to make the cupcake to go in the middle. Just make sure it's smoothed down properly. Right, now I'm going to fold it up. Now, as you fold it up, can you see how it all, that one flops in a bit? But when you've actually got your cupcake in there, that's going to hold really nicely and hold those sides out, okay? So if I just pop that back in there so that that can dry properly. Whoop, there you go. That's it. Lovely. Right, that one. Now for your cupcake. This is where we have to get a little bit special. Oh, actually, I haven't put my glue gun on. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to stop the video while I put my glue gun on. Right, while that's heating up, get what else we need. We are going to need I've got a strip of designer series paper. Now this measures the full 12-inch width by 2 inches. I've got, what else have I got? I've got some bubble wrap, just a piece. I've got some of this, what's it called, chiffon stuff? Chiffon, I'm sure it's called chiffon. And a roll. Now that particular roll is from, what did I get that from? Oh, that's come out the glue dots. That one. I know I got it from someone. Right, now with your designer series paper, I've already done this, but you need to score it every 1/4 of an inch all the way to the end. And then, this is the bit where it gets a bit fiddly, especially when your fingers don't work very well like mine. But what you want to do is concertina it. Alright, so just folding it back and forth. Now, when you've done that, just give it a squeeze so that it makes that nice zigzag effect. Because what we're actually doing is we're making the cupcake, what do you call it? I know what it's called. It's called a, you can tell I don't cook, can't you? Cake case, is that what it's called? Case, cake case, muffin case, cupcake case. Oh, my daughter would know. She's the one that does all the cake making in this house. Me and cake making, pff, you've got to be kidding. I can decorate them. I can decorate them quite well. Can't make it to save my life. Right, so if I pop, I'll just snip that end off there because I needed to have a piece I could just, oops, fold into there like that. And then I can stick the two together, you see. Well, I haven't cut it very straight, have I? Dear. I might have just trim that, otherwise that's going to look a bit peculiar. Must have had the paper wonky when I put it in the trimmer. There we go. That'll do. Right. So, I have got my ziggy-zag base. Now, is that going to fit around there? Yes, it is. Like that, you see? Okay, so that is now the cupcake base. So what we need to do is stick it to here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some double-sided tape around this ring here. I can pull it off. There we go. Right, and then that can go in there. Make sure it's sort of flat, and then you can just squeeze it to stick the paper to that ring. All right, just gently. Don't squeeze it too hard, because if you squeeze it too hard, you're going to squash all your zigzags, which kind of defeats the object of doing it in the first place, really, doesn't it? All right, try and get it even, unlike me, who hasn't. Hang on, let me do that. Let me do that again. Oh dear, no, still not even. Wait a minute. See, the good thing is, at least it comes off relatively easy still at this point. It won't do once we've finished those, so just spend a little time just getting it even. Let's just move that one along a little bit. And I think we'll be okay then. Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it? Whoop. Apart from I squash that bit there. Right, there we go. Now, to hold it in the right place, because obviously that could just all ping off, couldn't it? What we're going to do is, if I just grab some ribbon, I'm going to use some of this nice sparkly pool party ribbon. And I'm actually going to put it around the bottom there, like that. I hope I've got enough off there. I'm sure I have, yeah. So I'm going to, my little tip for putting on ribbon. Actually, I'm going to use a strong one. I was just going to use my normal double-sided ribbon, but I think I'm going to use a strong one because obviously I want it to hold those rings in place as well. Rings? What are they called? Zigzags. Oh, I can't think, can't think. Right. Oh, that was my chair. I really need to have my chair sorted out because every now and again it sounds like I'm doing something a bit rude, which obviously I'm not because I'm on the camera. And anyway, I don't do that. Honest. Oh, how many women say that? Right, let's get off of my backside and get back on to cupcakes. That's a much more interesting subject. Right, so stick all that down nice and firmly. I'm just going to peel that off, or try and peel it off. Is it going to come off? Oh, go on, come off easy for me. Right, found the ends. So what we need to do is, if you start off, it's a bit delicate still, look, you see it's all falling apart on me as I pick it up. But if you start it off, put the end of your ribbon sort of downwards, only because then that will just give you at least a starting point to hold on to. And then just carefully go around, and as you go round you will see that the ribbon will start to hold all your concertina zigzaggies in place, which, whoopsie daisy, is what you're aiming for, obviously. You could, if you wanted to, you could actually do it with a hot glue gun, I suppose. But I did try it with a hot glue gun once and I ended up in such a mess because it's quite slow when you go round that I gave up because it was just getting a bit silly and I wasn't able to actually stick it round properly, and it just ended up in a complete mess. So this is how I found the easiest way of doing it. But as I said, you could try it with a hot glue gun if you want to. Cut your ribbon off at the bottom and just stick it down. Now that's going to hold really firmly because of the type of ribbon, because of the type of tape, not ribbon. So that's going quite nicely in there. Now, once you've actually got that all round, then is the time to be using your hot glue gun. Oops, I've just squeezed it a bit too hard. Like I said, it's a little bit delicate to start with. So with my hot glue gun, and not a lot of glue, I'll get some more in a minute, I'm just going to go around that edge, I hope. There we are. Just with a little bit. I don't want a lot because I want to be able to stick it down as well, obviously. So I want it to hold it for me, but not actually dry in a big lump. So make sure you smooth it out, otherwise you'll end up with a big lump there and you won't be able to actually stick it down properly. But where you're pushing it, you see, as I'm using the end of the glue gun, because that's hot, so it's keeping the glue nice and melted for me. But as I'm pushing it down, it's actually going into those holes in between the zigzags and it's holding in place. All right, I'll just wait for that to cool down a little bit, otherwise I'm going to burn my hands. Now, where's my silicone mat? That's what I will use because I need to turn it up the other way now. There. If you've got a silicone mat, you can put it on the silicone mat and it won't stick. Look at that. And that's still hot. I'm not even going to touch it. Okay, so this is the cupcake thing. Now, get your what's it? What's it called? Bubble wrap. Get your what's-its. Put your bubble wrap in. And leave your bubble wrap so that it's just sort of puffing out the top a bit, like that. Don't need it to come right out, but just so that it's puffing out a bit, because that's going to help you to shape your cake. Okay. Hold it to one side and pull it out slightly, because now you're going to get your chiffon stuff Now I have got here, this is, I think this is, what, how wide is this? This is 16 inches wide and about, hang on, I'll tell you how long it is in a minute, about 30 inches long. I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to twist it like that. And that end, I'm going to twist quite tight. There we go. I'm just going to snip that off so it's just a bit neater, so I haven't got so much of it flailing around. Because what I want to do is I'm going to poke it down there like that. And then I'm just going to squeeze some hot glue on top of it, because that will just hold that fabric in place. Whoops, I ran out of glue then. I'll just get another stick of glue in there. I don't know whether I've got bits of glue on me or bits of thread off the chiffon stuff. Because it's so fine, that stuff, it gets everywhere, doesn't it? And let's just squeeze a bit more in there. Come on, Mr. Glue Gun. There we go, that's better. But quite a decent dollop so that it holds it in place, because what we're actually going to be doing is with this, it's going to be forming your icing, you see. So once that's in place, we are then, let me think, what's going to be the best way of doing this? Yeah, I think I'm going to put some double-sided tape on there. I wasn't going to, I was going to do it without it, but thinking about it, it's not going to be able to hold itself properly. So I'm just going to just loosely put some over the top like that, so that when I actually stick the fabric on, it's going to hold it in place for me a bit. You don't need to hold it for too much, because we're also going to be putting some pins in it. There, that's probably better. Now, I've twisted it quite tight, let it unravel a bit, and then just pretend you're icing a cake. And this is your icing. So your icing goes round like that. And as you go round it, turn your chiffony thing stuff again. Because if you were doing it with an icing, whatever it's called, what's one of those things called? I'm useless, aren't I? I don't remember a word of it. Oh, it's my son's Cubs badge. Let's bring my pin cushion in. Piping something or other? Bag? Piping bag. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I should have checked really before I started, shouldn't I? Rather than, oh, just make it up as I go along, me. Right, so keep twisting it. Whoops. It will look a mess. That's fine. Don't think, oh my goodness, that looks nothing like icing on a cake. It is not going to at the minute. That's not actually possible, because apart from anything else, it's material, isn't it? It's not actually icing. Right, so that's gone round quite a bit. Now, what I'm going to do now is with my pins, I'm going to use colours that will match obviously what I'm doing. So if I start with the white ones, because I'm going to pull that fabric down, twist it under and push it in. So it will actually, when I'm done, it will look like little baubles, sprinkles, you know, that kind of thing. Sprinkly baubles. Is that what they are? Now, obviously I don't want it too tight, but I'm pushing it into the, whoopsie daisy, the bubble wrap. Alright, and the bubble wrap is holding it in place for me. Holding my pins in place, I should say. Right, now I've got those ones in, I can actually get it stuck onto the card base now, because that should have dried. And it will also mean I have something a bit more firmer to stick to. Right, a nice big dollop of glue all the way around the bottom. Alright, because you want to hold it in the middle of your card that you've just made. There we go. Right, now unfortunately, because I've stuck it on, you might not be able to see too well what I'm doing, so I'm going to try and tip it up so that you can still see it, but it may be that you can't. I do hope you can though. So otherwise you're not going to know how to do it, are you? Right, there we go. So that's that layer done. Now I can twist it back again, because obviously it came undone a little bit, didn't it? Move the fabric around to where I want it, so that I'm looking like piped icing again. And then, this would be a bit easier to show you now because I've gone up a layer. With your pin, oh, just leaning it against myself. So with your pin, you're just going to take a bit of the material, you're going to hook it in, and then push it into the bubble wrap. Now you'll find that you'll push it in quite hard, like that, and then you pull it out again, so that it gets its shape going. Alright, so see that one, I'll push that in a bit too far, that side. Let's move that out again. It takes a little while to get it the way you want it. It doesn't happen instantly. It takes a little bit of fiddling. But once you've done your fiddling, it looks really good. And you're using your pins to shape your cake. Because it's the pins that are actually giving the icing its shape. Now I think, see, I don't want to cut this off too soon. I wanted to make sure I had enough going around before I cut it off, but I think I'm going to have enough there. So if I just cut that to there, keep hold of that end because I need to stick the end down. So twist it quite tight. Fold it over a few times, a bit more hot glue, mind your fingers, and then just stick it on top. Alright, and as you stick it on, it will slightly unravel, which is exactly what you want it to do, because obviously you don't want a perfect swirl. Ow, mind your fingers. Well, I say you don't want a perfect swirl. You may want a perfect swirl. It's time, isn't it? It's all down to time. I mean, I could sit here for ages messing around with this and you lot would get bored silly. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time with it. But obviously when you're doing your own one, then you can. Now that's given me my shape that I'm after, I think. Yep, that's given me my shape. Perfect, perfect. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put some like little coloured ones on, but just to make it a bit more special, I'm going to put some sequins on there as well. Now then, which colour should we use? I've got these nice pinky coloured ones. I think if I use those with the red, that'll sort of match with that then, won't it? So, whoops, just pinging them everywhere. Very fiddly to pick up, aren't they? Now, let's try it like that. Stick it to my finger. There we go. There. How about that? What does that? Does that look all right, do you think? Or should we put the pink ones? Or should we go for white ones? What do you reckon? Come on, let's get a white one. Okay, white one. No, I like the pink one. A little bit shiny, isn't it? So you're not going to need loads of them. These sequins, these are Blushing Bride coloured sequins, and these are actually from the Love Blossoms embellishment kit. Some lovely things in there. As you can see, I've got all sorts of little bits left over. But it's just going to finish it off and give me the little bit of colour that I want to bring in and match. Whoops, oh, my pins come out then, because I need a bit of colour in there just to blend it in with the colour that's going around the edge. And I think you'll agree it does actually look rather nifty. Maybe a bit chewy to eat. It's just got a load of pins in it. But even so, still looks rather yummy. Right, so sort of push it in, pull it out. That will help you with your shape. We need a couple more, I think, don't we? These ones. There we go. Just put some on the top there, and then we're done. I put that one. Where should we go? You've got a much better view than I have at the moment. Oh, that's gone straight in the glue. I didn't want to put it in the glue because I won't be able to push it in without squishing it completely. There we are. There's one. I'll show you it from the side in just a sec. Let me just get this. I think this is going to be the last one. Yeah, that'll be the last one. So if I put that one in there. And then once you've got them all in, and you've sort of pushed them in and pulled them out and pushed them in and pulled them out, you just cup it with your hands. You'll be able to get the right shape. Alright, so that's it from the top. That is it from the side. And that is what is going to be seen when you give it to whoever you give it to. Your lovely cupcake in the middle of the card. Now, when you actually put the lid on, you may find, I've been lucky this time, whoops, get rid of that strand. I was going to say, you may find that sometimes the lid is, or the cake rather, is slightly higher than the lid. Don't worry about it, because once you've got the lid on, it will squash itself down, and in fact, it might even make it even better still, because you'll get more of this sort of overhang going on around it, which I think does look rather cool, because that's how icing usually ends up, isn't it? Right, there we go. So there is our cupcake. Now, just to finish it off, just to make it look just a little bit more special, I'm going to get my Wink Stella pen again. This is the glittery one that I was using on the outside. Actually coloured in those green bits. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to colour in these flowers. Just make them nice and shiny. Okay, that's that one. Just gives it that real pretty finish, doesn't it? There we go. Do you know what? I think I'll do these little ones as well over that I've done on the sides. They look quite nifty, don't they? Now, obviously, because of the shape of this card, you can't actually put it in an envelope, strangely enough. So what I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to show you how to make a bag, a special bag to keep it in, so that when you actually give it to the lucky recipient, they have got a bag to keep it in, and it means that they won't actually see it until they take out the bag and then take the lid off. So it just does that real extra bit of power. Oh, woof. Can you see how that's folded in there? Isn't it clever? Now, the only other thing I'd suggest you do, if you want to, obviously you don't have to, but if you want to, you could put something around the bottom here. Depends on the paper that you're using really, and the design that you've gone for, because you can end up putting too much on. Now, because I've got glitter on my flowers, I've got stamping on my cardstock, I've got patterned paper, I've got this big old cupcake in the middle. If I put something around the edge as well, it's going to look messy rather than pretty. The only thing I might do, I'm not too sure yet, but I might just put a couple of little flowers around there. So when you see the photo on my blog, don't be surprised if it has got a few flowers on there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not yet, you see. That's why I'm saying I might, because I don't know. Actually, you know what I could do? I might put those on there. They might look alright, mightn't they? Yeah, actually, I'm going to do that. That will just finish it off. These are, whoops, just like enamel dots. And they can just go on that corner. Yeah, actually that is what I'll do. I'll just pop those on. I wasn't too sure, you see, because I've got the Watermelon Wonder on there as well. I didn't want to make it too heavy, but I think it's all right because it matches, it sort of blends in with it, doesn't it? Oh, it's a little one. There's another big one. There's a big one. Come on for the paper. Well, there we go. There. Yeah, I think that just finishes it off, doesn't it? And it's not, because they're quite pale, it fits in quite well. Yes, that's good. Right, that's what we're going to go for. Right, so there's our cupcake done with our little dots on it and our little sequiny bits on it and our little glittery bits on it and all the other bits on it. Looking lovely and yummy. Right, so the next video then I will show you how to do the bag. All right, but everything that I've used to make this, apart from the fabric and the bubble wrap and the pins, actually fabric, the bubble wrap and the pins, yeah, but everything else you can actually buy through my website. All you need to do is just go onto my website, www.thecraftyspark.co.uk, and on the link for this blog post, which you'll find underneath the video, there will be a list of everything that I've used to make this particular card. All right, so you can just click on whichever one you want and it will take you straight through, add it to your shopping basket, check out, and you're done. Simple. All right, but as I said, that's it for today. I will see you again in tomorrow, maybe next day, not quite sure. As soon as I get that video done, I will put it on my blog and you'll be able to watch it, and then you'll see the bag that actually goes with this as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you could see that properly as well. I know it was a bit tricky because I had it working on the top, but I couldn't really work it from the side, could I? Which is a bit of a nuisance. But if I hold it like that for you, there you go. You'll be able to see how you put those pins in and just poke it into the bubble wrap. All right. I will see you again very, very soon. But in the meantime, take care, and if there's anything you need or anything you want to ask me, just drop me a line and I'll help you out as much as I can. See you soon. Bye.